You ever wake up one morning, and before you even finish your first cup of coffee, something, or someone, already gets under your skin? Maybe the TV's too loud. Maybe your phone keeps dinging. Maybe you look around and the world just feels noisy, fast, and suddenly you realize you're irritable. But here's the truth. You're not alone. Most of us, as we grow older, find our patience wears thinner. The things we used to brush off somehow start to sting. And sometimes we don't even know why. Today, we'll talk about why that happens, what's really going on inside us, physically, emotionally, and spiritually, and most importantly, how we can manage it, so we can keep our peace and protect the joy we've earned over a lifetime. Because after all these years, we deserve peace, not constant irritation. So let's take a deep breath and talk one senior heart to another. When you reach a certain age, you start to notice things you never did before. The aches, the small annoyances, the noises that never used to bother you, they all start feeling louder, sharper, more personal. But irritability isn't just bad temper. It's often a signal, a whisper from your mind or body saying, something needs attention. Let's be honest. Life changes as we get older, and those changes affect how we feel, think, and react. Some of it's physical. The body slows down, hormones shift, sleep patterns change. Some of it's emotional. We've seen so much, lived through so much. And sometimes the weight of it all just sits quietly on our chest. And some of it's social, loneliness, feeling misunderstood, or being treated as if we're invisible. It all adds up, and that build-up, that's where irritability often hides. On the physical side, has to do with when the body speaks through mood. Our bodies are storytellers. They speak to us through energy, tension, or even anger. And as we age, they tell new stories. For seniors, a lot of irritability has roots in the body. Sleep gets lighter. Digestion slows down. Our hearing and vision change. And trying to follow a fast conversation or a noisy dinner table can be frustrating. Even small discomforts like joint pain or low energy can chip away at patience without us realizing it. And then there's the quiet culprit, medication. Many seniors take prescriptions that affect mood. Some drugs for blood pressure, cholesterol, or sleep can cause irritability or fatigue as side effects. The body doesn't lie, but it doesn't always speak plainly either. So when irritability shows up, it's worth asking, is this emotional or is my body trying to tell me something? 2. The emotional side, and this has to do with layers of unspoken feelings. You know, as the years pass, we collect more than photographs and memories. We collect feelings, griefs we never fully mourned, disappointments we learned to bury, and small wounds from words that still echo, even after decades. Those feelings can pile up quietly, and when something small happens, like someone cutting us off mid-sentence, or forgetting to call, that tiny moment can touch an old nerve. And suddenly, it's not just about what happened today. It's about every time we felt unseen, unheard, or dismissed. Irritability in that sense isn't just about the present. It's a reflection of the past asking to be understood. 3. The changing world. When the pace feels too fast. The world we grew up in had time to breathe. You could sit on the porch, talk with a neighbor, watch the sun set without a notification interrupting it. But now everything's fast. People scroll more than they speak. And sometimes it feels like the whole world forgot how to slow down. For many seniors, that shift feels like a betrayal of peace. And that tension between the world we knew and the one we live in now can make us short-tempered. We're not angry at progress, but it can be hard to live in a time where stillness feels strange. 4. The emotional losses and the loneliness. Here's something few people talk about openly. The older you get, the more goodbyes you've had to say. Friends, siblings, maybe even a spouse. The faces at the table get fewer over time. And even when you're not alone, loneliness can creep in quietly, especially when others don't quite understand your rhythm anymore. That kind of emotional emptiness can turn into irritability. Not because we're angry at others, but because we miss connection, and sometimes we mask that longing with short words or heavy sighs. It's not anger, It's missing someone. It's missing the kind of companionship that feels easy and old-fashioned. Harold was 78 when he realized he'd started snapping more. He'd been a kind man all his life, patient, polite, never one to raise his voice. But lately, every small thing seemed to test him. The neighbor's dog barking, the mail coming late, the phone ringing during dinner. One afternoon he found himself yelling at the television, something about a news story he didn't even really care about. He stopped, looked at himself and sighed. What's happening to me? He wondered. His daughter Sarah visited that weekend. She didn't scold him, she just listened. And when she asked how he'd been sleeping, Harold admitted, not well. He woke up tired, stiff and restless. They went to his doctor together. Turns out his new medication was causing sleep issues and mood swings. After a small adjustment and better rest, Harold felt more like himself again. He later said, "It wasn't that I was angry at the world. I was just tired, and my body was trying to tell me in the only way it could." Sometimes that's all it is. Our bodies sending us messages in the language of irritability. 5. The control factor. This is when independence feels fragile. For decades, many of us were the ones holding everything together, raising kids, managing homes, building lives. We made decisions, gave advice, drove the car, handled the bills. We led. Then, one day, the world quietly shifts. You stop driving at night. Your kids start making decisions for you. Technology feels foreign, and sometimes even crossing the street. Feels like you're slowing everyone down. That loss of control can sting deeply. And irritation in those moments isn't about the small thing that went wrong. It's about wanting to feel capable again. Because independence isn't just about doing things on your own. It's about feeling like your life is still yours. 6. The small things add up. Sometimes it's not the big things that make us irritable. It's the pile of little things that never seem to stop. The faucet drips. The neighbor's lawnmower starts early. Your knees ache when it rains. Your computer freezes. And you can't seem to remember where you left your glasses again. On their own, they're nothing. But together they can feel like too much. That's why one of the most powerful habits for seniors is to pause and name what's really happening. When you say out loud, "I'm frustrated because my knee hurts," you take power away from the irritation. You turn confusion into clarity. And clarity always brings calm. 7. The energy shift. Slowing down doesn't mean stopping. As the years go on, we slow down. That's nature, and it's okay. But sometimes our minds don't slow at the same pace. You still want to do everything, but your energy says, "Not today." That mismatch between what you want to do and what you can do creates inner friction. That friction is one of the biggest unseen causes of senior irritability. Because deep down you remember who you used to be, and sometimes it hurts to meet the limits of who you are now. But slowing down isn't a failure. It's wisdom in motion. It's life teaching you to savor rather than chase. Next on the list is managing the inner storm, and this has to with tools for peace and patience in old age. You know, peace doesn't just happen. It's something we practice, sometimes every single morning. Irritability may visit us, but we don't have to let it move in and stay. We've spent a lifetime learning how to care for others. Now it's time to remember how to care for ourselves. To handle those restless moments with understanding, not guilt. So let's talk about how to manage irritability and how to bring back that calm, wise steadiness that comes from a life well lived. 1. First, pause before you react. When something annoys you, the phone rings at the wrong time, the traffic crawls, or someone talks too loud, your body reacts before your mind catches up. That's when the pause matters. Just one deep breath, in through the nose, out through the mouth. That breath creates a small space. A space between what happens and how you respond. That small space is where peace lives. It's not weakness to pause, it's wisdom. Because in that moment you remind yourself, I'm in control of my response, even if I can't control the situation. Try it once today. The next time something irritates you, just breathe and say quietly, this moment will pass. It sounds simple, But with practice, it changes everything. 2. Identify the true source. Irritation is often the surface layer, not the root, like smoke rising from a hidden fire. So when you catch yourself feeling testy or snappy, ask, what's really bothering me right now? Is it fatigue, pain, feeling unheard? Sometimes it's hunger. Sometimes it's a worry you haven't said out loud. Sometimes it's something as small as noise when you needed silence. When you name the real reason, you can address it, instead of punishing yourself or others for it. Awareness turns frustration into understanding. 3. Mind the basics: your sleep, your food, and your movement. It sounds almost too simple, doesn't it? But so many seniors feel irritable because their basic needs aren't fully met. As we age, deep sleep becomes harder to reach. Our bodies wake more easily, and that robs us of rest. Poor sleep can make anyone short-tempered, so make your night sacred. Turn off screens early, keep your room dark and cool, and end the day with gratitude instead of news. Low blood sugar can also spark irritability fast. Skipping breakfast or eating too little protein can drain your mood. Eat regularly and drink plenty of water. Dehydration alone can make you feel tense and foggy. Taking gentle walks, stretching, engaging in chair yoga, even gardening, they release endorphins that soften your mood. When your body moves, your mind loosens its grip on irritation. These basics are small, but they're powerful medicine. 4. Let go of the illusion of control. A lot of senior irritability comes from this one truth: we can't control as much as we used to. The weather, our health, other people, the pace of life, most of it's beyond our reach. But we still try. We still wish people would act differently, that our bodies would behave, that the world would slow down and listen. When it doesn't, we feel helpless. And helplessness often wears the mask of anger. So here's the wisdom. You don't have to control everything. You just need to guide your response. You can't stop the rain, but you can sit by the window and listen to it with calm. That's peace. That's grace. 5. Practice slower living on purpose. We live in a rushed world, but we don't have to live a rushed lives. You can take time making your coffee. You can fold your laundry like it's a quiet ritual. You can look out the window and really notice the color of the sky. When you slow down on purpose, your nervous system calms and irritability loses its grip. Try a slow hour every day, with no multitasking and no rush. Just you, the moment, and your breath. You'll be amazed at how patient you become with yourself and others. 6. Don't keep it inside. Many seniors carry their irritability silently. They feel embarrassed or afraid of being seen as grumpy. But silence turns small irritations into deep frustration. Find someone safe, a friend, a neighbor, your doctor, a counselor, and just talk. Sometimes saying, "I've been feeling short-tempered lately," opens the door to real healing. Even writing it down helps. A daily journal, even a few lines. What made me smile today? What tested my patience? When you see it on paper, you can handle it with more kindness. 7. Relearn how to be gentle, especially with yourself. You've spent decades being strong, responsible, tough. But now you deserve softness. You deserve to forgive yourself for being human. So when you snap or lose patience, don't scold yourself. Notice it, breathe, and start again. Be the kind of friend to yourself that you always were to others. Gentleness isn't weakness. It's the mark of deep maturity. Eleanor was 82, a retired teacher who loved her garden. But after her husband passed, the smallest things began to wear her down. The neighbor's kids laughing too loudly, the mailman mixing up her letters, even the birds chirping before sunrise. All of it seemed unbearable. One morning she caught herself snapping at a friend over the phone. When she hung up, she sat quietly, guilt washing over her. "I don't want to be this person," she whispered. Her granddaughter Lily came to visit that weekend. Instead of talking, they spent the morning planting flowers together. The rhythm of digging, the smell of the earth, the sunlight on her face. Something in Eleanor softened. She started making small changes. A walk every morning, fewer news channels, more time outside. She learned to pause and smile when she felt irritation rising. One day she told Lily, "I still get annoyed, but now I let it pass through me instead of staying." Her irritability didn't disappear. It simply lost its power over her. That's what growth looks like, even at 82. 8. Learn to laugh at life's small messes. A sense of humor is one of the best tools against irritability. When you can laugh, really laugh, you release tension faster than any medicine can. So when life throws you a silly inconvenience, the remote goes missing, your toast burns, your phone autocorrects nonsense, don't curse it, chuckle at it. Laughing reminds you that not every moment needs to be perfect. And perfection, honestly, is overrated. 9. Protect your energy. Not everyone or everything deserves your full attention. If certain TV programs, conversations, or people always upset you, limit them. Your peace is valuable. Choose what you feed your mind. More music, less noise. More nature, fewer arguments. More gratitude, fewer complaints. You can't avoid every irritation, but you can choose what kind of energy you allow around you. 10. Gratitude is the quickest shift of all. You can't feel grateful and angry at the same time. It's almost impossible. The next time something annoys you, pause and say, what can I still be thankful for right now? Maybe it's your eyesight, or your morning cup of tea, or the fact that you're still here, breathing, learning, growing. Gratitude turns irritation into appreciation, and appreciation makes ordinary moments feel sacred again. 11. Connection is the antidote to frustration. Irritability often fades when we feel connected. Call someone, visit someone, smile at someone. It's hard to stay angry when you're laughing with an old friend or helping someone else. If you can, join a community group, volunteer, or even just talk to your neighbor while watering the plants. Connection feeds the spirit, and a fed spirit rarely feels irritated for long. 12. Practicing meditation and mindful living. You don't need to sit cross-legged or chant. Mindfulness can be as simple as feeling the warmth of your coffee mug or listening to the sound of birds. Try this each morning. Take 3 slow breaths and silently say, I'm here, I'm calm, I'm grateful. Do it again at night. Those small sacred pauses bring more balance than you'd expect. Over time, irritability becomes a visitor, not a resident. 13. Forgiveness is the final calmness for irritations. Sometimes our irritation isn't about the present at all. It's old anger still waiting to be released. Someone who wronged us, a moment we wish had gone differently, even ourselves. Forgiveness isn't about forgetting. It's about freeing your own heart from heavy chains. Say quietly, I forgive, not because they deserve it, but because I deserve peace. That's one of the most powerful acts of wisdom a senior can make. You know, as the years roll by, our relationships become our greatest treasures, but they can also become our biggest tests. Because sometimes the people we love most are the ones who see our irritability the clearest. They're close enough to catch the sighs, the short answers, the moments we wish we could take back. That's part of being human, and aging doesn't change that. But the beauty of getting older is this. We have the wisdom to notice, reflect, and soften again. Let's talk about how irritability affects those around us, and how, with a little awareness and heart, we can turn short tempers into long-lasting tenderness. 1. When familiarity feels friction in marriage. After decades together, small habits start to feel bigger. The way your spouse chews, leaves the light on, or forgets to close the fridge. Little things can stir up big irritation. But that's not because love is fading. It's because routine makes us notice imperfections more. Remember this. The goal isn't perfection, it's presence. When you catch yourself about to snap, try to look at your partner with fresh eyes, the way you did long ago. Ask yourself, if this were the first week we met, would this still bother me? Chances are it wouldn't. That tiny shift in perspective can dissolve so much tension. To speak with calm, not correction. Many seniors grew up in times when emotions weren't always discussed openly. We learned to tough it out or keep quiet. But silence often builds pressure, and pressure always finds a way out. Instead, try gentle communication. Say, I've been feeling a bit on edge lately. It's not you, I'm just tired. Or, when you do that, I get a little tense. Can we try something different? Honest words heal faster than angry tones. People can't read our minds, but they can understand our hearts if we give them a chance. 3. Patience in long-term bonds. You know the beauty of long relationships. They've seen everything, joy, sorrow, and everything in between. But that history can also bring old arguments back to life. If your partner irritates you about something that's happened before, pause before you react. Ask yourself, is this really about today? Or is it about yesterday still echoing in me? You can't change the past, but you can choose how much power you give it now. Let the old ghosts rest. Peace in marriage is less about agreeing on everything, and more about learning when to just let things slide. 4. Our mood shapes the home. Have you ever noticed how moods spread? If one person in the house is irritable, soon everyone's tense, even the cat hides. But the same works in reverse. A calm voice, a kind word, a gentle smile. They cool down even the hottest moment. So when irritability hits, remember, you set the tone. If you breathe slower, others will too. Your peace becomes contagious. It's one of the quiet superpowers of age. The ability to calm a room simply by being steady. You know, as the years roll by, our relationships become our greatest treasures. But they can also become our biggest tests. Because sometimes the people we love most are the ones who see our irritability the clearest. They're close enough to catch the sighs, the short answers, the moments we wish we could take back. That's part of being human, and aging doesn't change that. But the beauty of getting older is this. We have the wisdom to notice, reflect, and soften again. Let's talk about how irritability affects those around us, and how, with a little awareness and heart, we can turn short tempers into long-lasting tenderness. 1. When familiarity feels friction in marriage. After decades together, small habits start to feel bigger. The way your spouse chews, leaves the light on, or forgets to close the fridge. Little things can stir up big irritation. But that's not because love is fading. It's because routine makes us notice imperfections more. Remember this. The goal isn't perfection, it's presence. When you catch yourself about to snap, try to look at your partner with fresh eyes, the way you did long ago. Ask yourself, if this were the first week we met, would this still bother me? Chances are it wouldn't. That tiny shift in perspective can dissolve so much tension. To speak with calm, not correction. Many seniors grew up in times when emotions weren't always discussed openly. We learned to tough it out or keep quiet. But silence often builds pressure, and pressure always finds a way out. Instead, try gentle communication. Say, I've been feeling a bit on edge lately. It's not you, I'm just tired. Or, when you do that, I get a little tense. Can we try something different? Honest words heal faster than angry tones. People can't read our minds, but they can understand our hearts if we give them a chance. 3. Patience in long-term bonds. You know the beauty of long relationships. They've seen everything, joy, sorrow, and everything in between. But that history can also bring old arguments back to life. If your partner irritates you about something that's happened before, pause before you react. Ask yourself, is this really about today? Or is it about yesterday still echoing in me? You can't change the past, but you can choose how much power you give it now. Let the old ghosts rest. Peace in marriage is less about agreeing on everything, and more about learning when to just let things slide. 4. Our mood shapes the home. Have you ever noticed how moods spread? If one person in the house is irritable, soon everyone's tense, even the cat hides. But the same works in reverse. A calm voice, a kind word, a gentle smile. They cool down even the hottest moment. So when irritability hits, remember, you set the tone. If you breathe slower, others will too. Your peace becomes contagious. It's one of the quiet superpowers of age. The ability to calm a room simply by being steady. 5. Generations collision. Sometimes the younger ones don't get it. They rush, interrupt, check their phones, talk fast. And we, with our slower rhythm, feel left behind. That disconnect can sting. And without meaning to, it can make us irritable. But here's the truth. They're not trying to disrespect us. They're living in a faster world than we did. So when frustration rises, try to bridge the gap instead of widening it. Ask about their lives. Share your stories. Listen as much as you speak. When generations meet halfway, understanding replaces irritation. 6. Dealing with adult children. Our children will always be our children, even when they're 50. But roles change. They start worrying about us. They offer advice, sometimes too much of it. And that can feel patronizing. When your son says, "Mom, don't climb that ladder," or your daughter checks if you've taken your medicine, it can trigger that inner voice that says, "Do they think I can't handle myself?" Instead of snapping, see it for what it truly is: love wearing the mask of worry. They're not trying to control you. They're trying not to lose you. If you respond with kindness, you teach them how to love you better. 7. Friendships and social circles. Friendship in our later years is precious, but it changes too. Sometimes friends start to forget things. Sometimes they repeat stories, move slower, or cancel plans. And we get frustrated, not realizing we might be doing the same. Compassion is the cure. Everyone's fighting an unseen battle: aches, memory lapses, loneliness. When we offer grace instead of judgment, friendship deepens instead of fading. And if a friend's irritability hurts you, remember, it's rarely about you. It's their own storm showing through. 8. Couples who argue less has the secret to irritation. Want to know what research has found? Couples in their 70s and 80s argue less than younger ones. Not because life gets easier, but because wisdom finally wins. You realize that most things aren't worth losing your peace over. That's the beauty of age. You stop sweating the small stuff and start protecting your peace instead. So, if you and your partner still argue sometimes, congratulations. It means you still care enough to engage. Just make sure love speaks louder than irritation. 9. Managing the quiet irritation when living alone. For those living alone, irritability can take on a new shape. It's not about people, it's about silence. Too much quiet can make every small inconvenience louder. If the faucet drips or the phone doesn't ring, the house can feel like it's echoing your mood. That's when routine becomes your best friend. Start your day with movement, music, or sunlight. End it with gratitude or prayer. Stay in touch with people, even if it's just a short call. You're not meant to walk through this life in silence. Connection keeps the heart gentle. 10. Humors in relationships. Every long bond needs laughter. When you can laugh together, irritation loses power. Make light of the small things. If you forget where you put the keys, turn it into a shared joke. If your spouse repeats a story, smile and say, "That's one of your best ones." Laughter isn't denial, it's release. And joy shared is joy multiplied. 11. Apologizing with grace. One of the greatest signs of wisdom is knowing how to say, "I'm sorry," and mean it. We all lose patience sometimes. We speak too sharply, then regret it. But an apology softens everything. It doesn't erase what happened, but it tells the other person, "I value our peace more than my pride." And that, my friend, is pure strength. 12. Forgiveness in relationships. If you live long enough, you'll be hurt by someone you love, and you'll hurt them too. It's inevitable. But carrying those grudges only feeds irritability. Forgive them, not because it excuses what they did, but because holding on to bitterness only hurts you. Forgiveness is the quiet medicine of the soul. 13. A new kind of patience formed from memory fades. For some seniors, memory begins to play tricks. And nothing tests patience like forgetfulness, yours or a loved one's. When your spouse forgets a date, or you forget a name, instead of frustration, offer grace. Say softly, "It's okay, it'll come to me," and move on. Memory may fade, but love doesn't. That's what truly matters. 14. The power of touch and presence. When words fail or irritation lingers, sometimes all you need is a gentle touch. A hand on the shoulder, a shared smile, a small act of affection. Human touch lowers stress, releases calm hormones, and reminds us we're not alone. Never underestimate what a simple "I'm here" can do. 15. Building new bonds. Even in our 70s or 80s, new friendships and love are still possible. Irritability often shrinks when curiosity grows. Join a club, attend a senior event, or volunteer. You'll find others walking the same path. People who understand without explanation. Shared laughter is still the best therapy. 16. Healing family tensions. Sometimes old family wounds linger, maybe with a sibling, a child, or an in-law. You think it's too late to fix, but it's not. Start small. A letter, a call, a message saying, "I've been thinking of you. Let's talk." Even if they don't respond right away, you've planted a seed of peace, and that peace will find its way back to you. 17. Loving through irritation. The greatest lesson of age is simple. Love through the irritation. Love your spouse when they forget. Love your kids when they rush. Love your friends when they talk too much. Love yourself when you lose your patience. Because at the end of the day, irritability fades, but love remains. You know, my friend, irritability isn't a flaw. It's just the soul's way of saying, "I need a little more care today." We've earned our years, our wisdom, and our peace. And when life feels too loud or too fast, we can always return to stillness through a deep breath, a soft laugh, or a quiet moment of gratitude. So take it easy on yourself. You've done enough, given enough, been enough. Now your only job is to live gently and love deeply. Tell me, what helps you? Find peace when irritation comes? Share it in the comments below, and let's keep learning from one another. Like this video, join our senior community, and remember, each day you wake up is another chance to live with kindness and calm. Wishing you peace, patience, and a gentle heart, always.